Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the talk show hosted by Vietnam Investment Review. My name is Phương Hảo and I'm very happy to have you all here. So, ladies and gentlemen, the rapid development of different economic sectors has been creating positive effects on Vietnam's society as well as its people's life. However, it's also putting a burden on the environment with a large amount of waste and emission. Aiming at a sustainable development and a greener world, businesses in different sectors, including those one in the retail and service industry, have implemented a series of zero waste campaigns. So what are the campaigns and how have they impacted to the situation of plastic waste in Vietnam? So let's come to our talk show today under the topic Plastic Reduction Initiative in Retail and Services. First of all, please help me to welcome the distinguished guests. Associate Professor Dr. Nguyễn Đình Thọ, General Director of Institute of Strategy and Policy on Natural Resources and Environment.
Good afternoon.
Let's welcome Ms. Patricia Marquez, General Manager, Starbucks Vietnam.
Good afternoon.
And here we also have Mr. Jin U Song, CEO Ban Biên Vietnam.
Very nice to meet you all.
Last and not least, I would like to introduce Ms. Nguyễn Bằng Lăng, in charge of the Sustainable Development Function at MIıyor Vietnam. So thank you very much for being here with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, before discussing furthermore about the topic, let's have a look at a short video about the rampant plastic waste in Vietnam.
We all love our planet, we all live on our planet, and there's only one. There's no planet B. One thing that we really need to do if we want to take more care of our planet is manage plastics. All that plastic does not disappear by itself. If we burn the plastic, it will harm the quality of the air that we breathe. If we bury plastic, it will harm the quality of the groundwater that we use for agricultural purposes. And eventually, it will harm the quality of the food that we take in. If we don't do anything about our plastics, it will further enter into the rivers and in the ocean. So it's really time to act. There's really a need for change.
So in the video we can see that only 4 boys and girls, but they distrust a large number of plastic items. And on the average, each Vietnamese person throw away 1 plastic bag one day. And the number of plastic one discharged into the environment is about 31.4 billion won a year. So this number is so huge, but only 70% of this is recycled and reused. So, Ms. Patricia, coming to Vietnam for around 10 years, and this situation seems to be so familiar to you, okay? So what do you assess about this situation, and what have you and Starbucks done to improve or to change this situation in Vietnam?
Yes, thank you for having me here. It's such a pleasure to be in this panel discussing something that is so close to our heart. It's impressive to see what we have seen. And I think we are all recognizing the need for a very dramatic change. At Starbucks, we have replaced plastic for paper. Mostly our bags are all paper. Our containers are cardboard. And we have eliminated plastic straws. We consider that such a small change makes such a significant change. We know that. But we also know that the reason single-use plastic is so prevalent is because it is so available, so inexpensive, and so easy to pick up.
Yes.
Right? So we see this every day. It's so easy to be on the motorbike and just hand a bill and you will be handed either some food or a drink in a plastic bag, and most likely in a styrofoam container, which is highly poisonous. So I think that is one of the biggest problems. And while we try our very best in making these changes, we know there is such a long way to go.
Yes, it's sure such a long way for all of us to go, but I think step by step, together we can make change and make it this situation is better. Yeah, so do you agree with this, Bang Lam? So what do you think about this situation, and what have MIıyor N done over the years?
Yeah. Thank you for your answer, Ms. Patricia, and I totally agree with your point. As a Vietnamese, I live in Vietnam for over 30 years, and I witness these changes every day. So for the situation, from my point of view, I think that we do not deny the convenience of the plastic material, because it's like a huge invention for human convenience. However, I think the root cause of the plastic crisis that we are facing right now is come from the action that we use that plastic material, because we use it unconsciously and unsustainably. So I think I have 3 points because that adds up to the single-use plastic crisis in Vietnam. The first point is because the cost of this material is barely none. So every business and even private or public business add in the plastic in their operation procedure with no burden. Yeah. And the second point is because the investment in changing into sustainable material is very high, and even in Vietnam we do not have the facility to support for the business to change into this material, so it's very hard. Yeah, and the final point is the after-use process haven't developed yet also. So the classification and the treatment process in Vietnam, it haven't developed yet. So we don't have anything to support for resolving the plastic.
Yeah.
So in a scale of retailer for MIıyor, since our first opening store in 2014, so 95% of our plastic, of our carrying bag was made of biodegradable material. And we are changing the container because, you know, we are retailer and we have the ready to eat and ready to drink counters. So we are changing the storage material into the eco-friendly also. And of course, it does not because we have biodegradable material and we stop there. We also we always like trying to evolve and changing and finding the solution, next solution.
Yes, as Ms. Bang Lam have said that the fee is free, for using plastic bag.
Yes.
So even when you go to the traditional market, people even ask for more plastic bag. Yes, because they are not sure about the certainty of the bags, so they want us maybe ask 1 or 2 or even more for only one goods. Yeah, so it's really hard for all of us for treating this situation. Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Bang Lam. Well, yeah, Mr. Chong. Yeah, food field is one of the field that using a lot of plastic is tissue.
Yes.
Yeah, item. So, and I think food ordering services had increased demand for single-use plastic. Yes, at a food delivery startup, what does Ban Biên in Vietnam think about this opinion, and what have you done to limit plastic waste in Vietnam?
Yeah, thanks for your question. So yeah, seeing this video, I think that the reducing the plastic is very should be our ultimate kind of a mission as a more like a food delivery platform player. And then in that regard, we take this situation very seriously. And then as a company, a food tech company, we are come up with some couple of solutions to reduce the plastic waste as much as possible. So for example, also, we are also thinking about how we can minimize our food waste as well, together with the plastic waste. So in that regard, there are a couple of programs that we are thinking of to launch around the second half of this year.
Second half?
Yeah. So first one is that we will introduce more like a B2B mode to introduce more eco-friendly the plastic bags and the plastic packaging material to our merchant. So if you look at the general kind of a practice of a plastic procurement, in case of small, medium SME merchant, they buy it from the retailer who sell typical kind of plastic material, and then their criteria to buy that is just cost. So most of the cheap plastic material is not that eco-friendly. And that we are now sourcing the multiple vendor who make more eco-friendly plastic bag, which is more biodegradable. Even though the cost is huge, if Ban Biên can introduce set up the B2B mode by reducing the wholesale channel and the retail channel for this plastic bag, actually we can give a more attractive price for our merchant partner so that they can purchase biodegradable material with a more the cheaper price. So we are setting up the B2B mode so that we can introduce more eco-friendly items for our SME merchant, and then by doing so, we can make more eco-friendly packaging in the Vietnamese market, to be used by our user.
Yes, as you have said that you have mentioned about the reuse, recycle the packaging item. However, I think this one also belongs to the awareness of users, of consumer. Yes, so how do you treat this, or how do you do, or what have you done with the consumer? How do you collect this for recycling?
So the first step should start from more like a changing their mindset. So many users unconsciously place the order and then unintentionally consume a lot of plastic. But throughout our consumer journey, we need to raise a flag to think about the environment and to think about the best option to reach the plastic. So in that regard, we are putting more like the function saying that no plastic cutlery and also no side dishes so that they can minimize the plastic. So throughout the digital consumer journey, that we can give some messages so that the user can think how they can reduce the plastic bag and also all the wastages. So that's the first step. And the second step is more like engaging our brand is more like an eco-friendly one. So we recently we launched more like the new ambassador called Turtle Bag, which is a turtle, but this is a new ambassador for the environment. And then we will expose this turtle into our brand activity so that consumer can care more about the environment for every single purchase month. And then thirdly, we have many new business plan, new vertical going forward. We just launched our retail service, and also we launched more like a home meal replacement service in the Vietnamese market. And then for this new vertical, we will find a new business model to reduce plastic bag as much as possible. For example, for our retail service called the Sour Market, and instead of giving out the free the plastic bag, we will, this is more like a pilot period, but we will give more like a reusable eco bag so that it will be more like insulated. And the customer just pick up the item and then leave the bag outside, and then for the next order, the rider come and pick up the reusable the bag and then we will wash it and give it for next order. So like that way, even for the online retail, we can think of very creative way to reduce the plastic as much as possible. So that should be the role that the private sector do more like innovative activities, for the to build up sustainable environment.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we can see that most of all of businesses are trying to find out the way to reduce plastic waste and by using the eco-friendly materials. Yeah, thank you very much. So Mr. Nguyễn Đình Thọ, I have known that Inspire has conducted a survey on the consumption of plastic bags and single-use plastic products at supermarkets and service businesses. Okay, so can you share more about the results of this survey?
Thank you very much. The Inspire is responsible for designing the regulation to reduce the use of the plastic, and we do a number of different surveys, and we work with our international partner and also corporate to together to reduce the plastic bag. In our recent survey, we estimate that one day the total bag that disposed into the environment is about 104,000 bags per day and accumulate to about 38 million bags per year. And this is quite a large number, and that's why we need to have the work together to reduce the plastic bag.
Yes, 38 millions. Millions one. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. So from the experience of working with many retail and service businesses, and as we have listened to the other guests share with us, so what do you think, or how have businesses trained their awareness and action to reduce plastic waste, in your opinion?
Because we are working with our international partner and also cooperation to find a way to reduce the use of plastic bag in Vietnam, and according to the environment protection law approved by the National Assembly in 2020, we have introduced a number of different methods, and the most important method is to apply circular economy and try to reduce and reuse and recycle all of the material and also products, and to reduce the waste into the environment. From the regulation, we require that if circular economy is applied in Vietnam, we will require the 4 criteria. The first one is to reduce the use of the raw material, especially the fossil material, and also secondly, to prolong the life of the material and the goods in the market. And the third one is to reduce the waste disposed to the environment, and the fourth one is not to harm the environment. And in order to do that, we try to control for the plastic stream, and the stream starting from the extracting, processing, manufacturing, consuming, and then dispose to the waste and segregation of waste at source, and then collecting, transportation, and treatment of waste. That is the whole process that we need to care about, how to reduce the plastic bag in the environment. And to achieve that, we consider that the designing is the most important thing. That is from the beginning, according to the European experience, that 90% of the successful of how we can reduce the plastic into the environment is from the start, from the designing. So our colleagues have said that how they have done that throughout the production process and throughout the retailing, and also about the consuming. We can reduce a single-use plastic bag, we can reduce plastic packaging, and we can remove the plastic straw in each product. Each of the things that we do, we will work together to reduce the plastic. And even we apply the ways that we can have a degradable plastic, we should be also be careful for the microplastics that may be a problem if we do not use the eco-friendly material.
Yes, as you have mentioned, circulation economy requires a lot of elements, and it's quite hard because it should start perfectly, so we will have the results perfect. Okay, perfect result. Yes, so in your opinion, so Because in fact many enterprises want to implement circulation economies, but as you have said, they don't have enough the material for this. Yes, so although they have invested into the system, but because of the material is not enough, so they have to stop. So this one is really difficult for business.
In fact, the whole law of environment protection approved in 2020, we have every article that focus on the circular economy in the way that we try to reduce the material from the beginning and prolong the life of the material and of the product and reducing the waste into the environment. That's the whole concept throughout the circular economy: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, and in order to do that, the law requires that the next year the Prime Minister will issue the national plan for circular economy, and it will require all the provinces, all the ministry to integrate the circular economy into the strategy and planning of different ministry in different industry and different provinces, and that's from the government and local government point of view. Yes. And the second thing, we also require that enterprise like this will have to incorporate circular economy into their production chains, and that's what our colleague here have shared what they have been done. Next week we will have the Vietnam Circular Economy Forum for the first time in Vietnam, and we will attract a lot of enterprise, and the Prime Minister will attend, and to demonstrate how commitment Vietnam want to work with the circular economy to achieve the zero waste and zero emission by 2050.
Yeah, 2050. Yes.
Yeah.
So as you can see that we can see that with the government and
yes.
all the locality join hands in this.
Yes.
So we hope that circular economy will get good results in short term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, consumer awareness of quality and the environmental friendliness of products has been increasing. Following this trend, many businesses have implemented a series of zero waste campaigns, replacing plastic cups and straw with biodegradable materials such as paper, stainless steel, bamboo, etc. So right now, let's have a look at such a green campaign like that implemented by Starbucks Vietnam. In the video, we have seen that Starbucks Vietnam has implemented some campaigns to encourage people, consumers, to use the eco-friendly materials or choose the eco-friendly way. Yes, so as far as I know, Ms. Patricia once shared about the desire to encourage employees to participate in environmental protection activities. So what initiative or campaigns that Starbucks Vietnam has implemented in the past time to call on employees and consumers to accompany the business in limiting the use of single-use plastic products? Ms. Marquez.
We have been working very diligently with our partners to make sure that not only we talk about change, but our partners are part of the change. I think that's a very important part of this, since it's our employees who face the customer. We have a promotion that is very successful. It has been with us since the inception of Starbucks in Vietnam, and that is bring your own cup. So any customer can show up to any of our stores with any cup, either ours or anybody else's for that matter, and get their drink in that container. We will also offer them a discount for this, which promotes and encourages that difficult consumer change. And our partners are championing this project that, like I said, already has a long time. We also have a campaign called Own Your Own Straw, and we have been promoting so customers can bring their own straw. Imagine if we will only disappear all the plastic straws from Vietnam. The impact will be enormous, correct? So we are convinced that we can pass on these great ideas, and perhaps other players in the market can utilize this process and this simple system of giving a small discount for reusing containers. I think it will be very easy to implement, and customers will all be happy.
Yeah, sure. Yes, when they get a discount, moreover, they get their favorite drink. So it is very happy for them. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, so that is some information about Starbucks Vietnam and their activities, campaigns related to sustainable development. So what about MIıyorN? The first retailer to encourage customers to switch to eco-friendly alternatives while shopping scene its establishment in 2014. Yes, so let's watch this video.
MIıyor N Việt Nam xin chào. Thuộc tập đoàn MIıyor N Nhật Bản, MIıyor N Việt Nam chính thức thành lập năm 2011, kinh doanh 5 lĩnh vực: trung tâm mua sắm, trung tâm bách hóa tổng hợp và siêu thị, cửa hàng chuyên doanh, siêu thị vừa và nhỏ, thương mại điện tử. Ngoài ra, MIıyor N Việt Nam còn hướng đến mục tiêu phát triển bền vững dựa trên 3 trụ cột: bền vững về môi trường, bền vững về con người, bền vững về xã hội. Chúng tôi đặt mục tiêu giảm tác động của hoạt động kinh doanh lên môi trường bằng việc sử dụng hợp lý nguồn tài nguyên thiên nhiên địa phương, đầu tư và tìm kiếm giải pháp thay thế bền vững. Năm 2019, dự án kiến tạo cộng đồng không rác thải nhựa được khởi động. 95% túi mua sắm tại hệ thống bán lẻ của MIıyor N Việt Nam là túi phân hủy sinh học, dự kiến sẽ đạt 100% vào cuối năm 2022. Dựa trên triết lý cơ bản, theo đuổi hòa bình, tôn trọng con người và đóng góp cho cộng đồng với việc lấy khách hàng làm giá trị cốt lõi, MIıyor N Việt Nam luôn nỗ lực không ngừng thực hiện sứ mệnh vĩnh cửu của nhà bán lẻ là nâng tầm phong cách sống của khách hàng và chung tay kiến tạo cuộc sống thịnh vượng.
So MIıyor N based on 3 columns: environment, peace, and human and community. So what have MIıyor N Vietnam done to promote green consumption among your staff and consumers?
Yes. As you can see on the screen, in MIıyor N, the sustainability direction, we have 3 pillars: environment, human, and the society. So the plastic waste reduction belongs to the pillar of environment. And as I already joined, as MIıyor N also an active member of the Plastic Alliance by its Fonre, and we also share a lot about our best practice and initiative to reduce the plastic consumption. So in MIıyor N, we launched the plastic reduction by the mid of 2019 with the hope that we can, under the retail influence, we can change the consumer behavior, as well as we collaborate with other stakeholders like government, authority, and sure, employee is a big part of that. To change the behavior of the plastic consumption. So for that project, we have 3 significant important mission. Mission 1 is we want to support to form the habit of refusing plastic bag in our shopping store. So why do we need to why do we say that we want to form the habit of refusing plastic bag? Because as I said before, we recognize that plastic is not the enemy. The way we use it is wrong. So we want to change that behavior. And we all know that changing behavior, it belongs to psychology. So it's a very long-term process. So task number 1 is support customer. So what do we do in task number 1? Firstly, we support them. If for example, if you are EON employee, you can borrow eco bag when you have the demand to purchase. And recently we launched an initiative to let customer rent an eco bag when they come to shopping at EON. For example, you really want to protect environment, but you forget to bring eco bag to EON. But like spending 20,000 Vietnam dong to buy a new eco bag is a hard decision. So we support customer to make decision better. By you only deposit 5,000 dong, you have 1 eco bag to use, and next time shopping you can return that bag and you receive your deposit back. So we apply the psychology process of consumer behavior. We make them, we help them to giving to make the decision which is eco-friendly easier. That's for task number 1. For task number 2, we improve the our operation process to minimize the plastic consumption in our operation. For example, when you're shopping in our supermarket and you come to the cashier counter, normally we will pack products into different categories because we want to ensure the food safety and hygiene and the convenience for the customer. So before, it will spend around 5 biodegradable plastic bags for 1 transaction. But we innovate and we optimize that packing process. So right now, we're proud to say that each transaction we spend only 3 bags maximum. So through innovation, we reduce the plastic consumption in our operation. And finally is task number 3, which is related to the government and authority. Of course, government is a very pivotal role in this situation. So we want to present in expert association. For example, we are a member of the Plastic Alliance. It is an initiative of H1 with the DOIT of Hanoi. And in those associations, we have the mission to collaborate with other retailers to share our best practice so that we can learn each other, and we believe that we can create a case study for the government. So the government have the data, have the real case study from real businesses. So they will have a firm foundation for upcoming legal changes. And yeah, that's the 3 key mission that we implement in the plastic reduction project in EON.
Yes, so we can see that EON have some initiative, including renting a shopping bag and priority to consumer who use eco-friendly shopping bags. Yeah, but I have a question. Yeah, the fee for renting shopping bags is only 5,000 Vietnam dong, is right?
Yes.
Yes. So actually, it is very cheap, and we also think about the awareness of people. When we are aware of something. For example, here we are aware of responsibility to protect environment, so it's not a problem. But for those who think, oh, 5,000 is too small money, so they forgot the next time. They don't return the bags, or maybe they use another one. So it's also a problem for you. Do you think so?
So let me share with you a little bit about why we launched that initiative. So before launching that initiative, we did a survey with our direct customer. So we asked them just one question: why do you not use eco bag? And they're giving a lot of different reasons, but then we categorize and we're ranking those reasons. Reason number 1 is because EON give me plastic bag for free, so I use it. And the second big the number 2 reason is because I forgot to bring eco bag. So for reason number 1, because it related to the customer convenience. We are retailer and we put customer at our core business. So we need to ensure the food safety and hygiene, ensure the convenience of the customer. And because reason number 1, it relates to the government legal framework also. So we put that aside and we decided to solve the second big reason is I forgot to bring eco bag. So because we always think from customer point of view, so we don't want to push customer like if you come to AEON you need to bring eco bag. We just want to encourage, and if you come to AEON and you forget, we offer you an easier solution. You don't have to spend 20,000 down. You just spend 5,000 down because it's just a small amount of money. So it's very easy decision for you to make. And if you forget to bring next time you're shopping, it's okay because you can return the bag within 6 months. You can return the bag within 6 months. And next time, if you continue to forget, we continue to let you rent another bag until you form your habit.
Yes.
So I think that's the way we approach with this initiative.
Okay, thank you for your shares. Yes, that is a story of AEON and Starbucks Vietnam. So what about Ban Biên Vietnam?
So
Mr. Jung Woo Song?
Yeah.
It is known that Ban Biên has had a very successful initiative to promote green consumption in South Korea.
Yes.
Can you share more about this initiative, and in Vietnam, what approaches are Ban Biên taking to change customer behavior?
Sure. Happy to share more detail on what made the Korea headquarters to be successful to reduce the plastic bags. So Ban Biên Korea is the first ever delivery app to receive the AAA from the United Nations guideline for the reducing the plastic waste. And then they have 5 initiatives to make it happen. So let me share more in detail. And then we are benchmarking the Korean case to think how we can apply the same principle into the Vietnamese market so that we can stand in the front line to reduce the plastic into the Vietnamese market among the food delivery platform. So first one is that so they made very creative kind of more like a device to collect the plastic delivery containers. So quite often in Korea they put their more like a mostly plastic leaves, and then to preserve food. But actually it generates lots of kind of plastic the garbages. And then the Ban Biên placed this kind of container the container lid so that the customer can put the plastic container lid into there, and then the machine automatically collect their plastic, which is reusable. So from corner to corner, once they use the Ban Biên, they have many plastic and then plastic lids, and then they put this plastic lid, and then this AI collect all the plastic lids and then keep it, and then Ban Biên rider recollect it and then recycle it. So that's more like the first campaign we started. And the secondly, we from the application throughout the consumer journey, we launched no side dishes and then no plastic cutlery campaign. So from when you check out, we placed the more like a button saying that no disposable cutlery please. And then the restaurant owner, merchant, didn't put any plastic cutleries. And also in Korea, it is more like a general practice to give free kimchi or some kind of a radish as a like a side dish for free. But in many cases, it becomes just a food waste. So if you, the customer, think that I will not eat kimchi or any kind of a side dishes, and he just or she just saying that no side dishes, please. So by doing so, then we reduce a lot of food wastage as well. And third one is that we also have a great partnership with our merchant and then restaurant owner. So left one is that, yeah, don't try to give many food wastes. And also, for the packaging, minimize packaging. So from the Ban Academy, which is more like an academy program for our restaurant merchant, we have some curriculum on how to minimize the packaging.
Yes.
Then how to use as small plastic package as possible. And it's more like a training and then education. And then as I mentioned, on the right side, we have a B2B mall. The Ban Korea set up the B2B mall to introduce more eco-friendly the plastic. So that the right side is an example, the picture on the right side example that this is the looks typical plastic bag, but inside the plastic bag, they grind it more like a coconut particle, so that it can be more biodegradable. And then by manufacturing in bulk, we can save huge of cost, and the actual unit cost is more or less same to the 100% plastic bag.
Yeah.
And then the first one is that we emphasize on their education. So actually it is not merchant owner's responsibility, but also our customers' responsibility, how to make plastic in a better way. Because usually the food will be contained in the plastic bag.
That's right.
And then most of the cases, the container bag will be contaminated by the many food and the ingredients like the spicy sauces.
Yeah.
And then in the case, it is very, very hard to recycle it. And then we provide more like a training material, how to make the packaging material recyclable, so that to minimize any contamination from the food.
Yeah.
That is more like an educational part. And the last one is that we also have a great partnership with the government, so that we can keep all the guidelines into the government, the guidance. So for any initiative, we have a great partnership with the Korean government, so that all these campaigns will be in line with the government policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a housewife, I often go to supermarkets or go to traditional market to buy food for our family. Yes, at each time when I buy the food, different type of food, for example, ribs or meat or fish, wow, I can see a lot of plastic back here,
Yes.
lots of plastic items. Yeah, and I often wonder how to reduce this, because you use this only one time and you throw away and it's destroyed and no one collect this for recycling. Yeah, so it's terrible for me. And so many times I wish that the producer will have find the materials like you have said, use a coconut material or something like that. Yeah, to reduce the plastic waste in the field of food.
Yes.
Thank you for the sharing. So we can see that the journey to change behavior is indeed not easy. And all the business are also participating in the education, the awareness of consumers. When the use of single-use plastic product has become so familiar and so convenient, so it's quite hard for the government as well as for the businesses. So do you think this is the biggest challenge or barrier for business? And what can we do to make it better? So let's come to the Miss Market.
Yes, I believe the most difficult, the biggest challenge that we face, I believe all of us, is the change in behavior. We see it in and out every day. I can say that no single-use plastic is one challenge that we need to conquer. And the sooner, the better for all of us.
Yes.
We have a very interesting projects, and we see how difficult they are to be implemented. A very good example is a few years ago, I think it's 4 years ago, we decided to change from plastic straws to natural material.
Yeah.
The first test that we had was with some kind of a cardboard made of natural material. But exactly to the point of my fellow participants here, we saw that the reaction of the customer, right? First was that they didn't like the material because they're used to the plastic. Second was they didn't agree with how it doesn't act like plastic, because naturally or biodegradable straw happens to lose the strength quicker. So there was so many complaints or comments about this, right? Then we decided to make a change, just like Bayman, contrary to economies, because all these changes are very expensive. We change for what we call strawless lid. The strawless lid allows you to push, once you are ready to take your drink, to push with your finger and an opening will appear. Very convenient. It has a sipping mechanism, very simple. And the idea is that everybody receives their drink and they just can take it without a straw. Well, it is much harder said than done, because our customers continue to ask for a straw. And just like we were talking about how waste is waste, even though there are different kinds of waste, we wanted to cut on consumption of straws. Yet the customer continues to ask for the straw. So it is a very big challenge, influencing our consumers and ensuring that they choose to do the right thing. Yes.
Yes, so it's not only single business to do that. It needs the joint hand of a lot of, or maybe all of the business, and particularly we also need the guideline from the government. Yes, so Mr. Nguyễn Đình Thọ, as a representative from regulatory agencies, so what solutions are being implemented by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment and ISPORE to encourage and support retail and service businesses to promote green consumption trends faster?
As I mentioned, our responsibility is to facilitate and encourage the public and corporation to implement our law on environment protection. And we also do a number of different campaigns to encourage business and community to participate in how to reduce the use of plastic. And recently we work with the Department of Trade and Service of Hanoi to establish the alliance to reduce the use of the plastic. And now we have 16 members. Most of them are large supermarket like MIıyor N, Lotte and Mega Market and other partner. And in our law we have been designing it in order to raising the awareness of the enterprise and the community, and also we have enforcement that they will have to follow. For the corporation, of course we encourage them to actively and voluntarily to take corporate responsibility and to increase their reputation by the consumer that the enterprise are very responsible, like the enterprise working with us here. But we also have the regulation on extended producer responsibility. For extended producer responsibility, we will require those who produce the plastic packaging, they will have to collect it back and recycle. If they cannot collect it back and recycle, they will have to pay for other people to do that for them. So that's the main regulations that we require. And for community, of course, we also have a number of programs. That's the video you saw it at the beginning. That's our video. That's to raising the awareness of the student and other consumer to reduce the use of the plastic, especially the single-use plastic. But in the law, we also have a separate requirement that the collection of waste now will be based on the volume or weight of the waste that the customer use. And if the segregation of waste is short, so that we can reuse and recycle, then the amount of waste that they will have to pay will reduce. And also the customer will increase their responsibility, and they will feel better and have a better impact on the environment. Throughout the regulation, we have all the requirement from raising the awareness, enforcement, and encouraging. We have a number of different regulations that will facilitate and provide priority and encourage the enterprise to take part in our activity to reduce the plastic waste, including the circular economy, as I mentioned. We also have a speculation about the green bond and green credit, and the government can also provide a lot of other priority encouragement for enterprise that take part in reducing the negative impact on the environment.
Yes, so I can see that the government as well as the East Korea also trying hard to raising the awareness of people in Vietnam. However, in the resident area, we can see we also have different try of trash bin. However, people throw all of them into one. Also, we have one green for organic one and the other for recycle one. But it's in the facade, a lot of people throw all of them in one. So how do we change it? Actually, we have implemented for a long time, such a long time, but it doesn't change.
As I mentioned, because the law that was introduced in 2020, and this year we have issued the decree number 8, and we are going to have a number of different circular to require that the continuously we will increase the requirement and the enforcement. And as I mentioned, in the future the customer and household will have to pay for the waste that they dispose. And our principle is anyone who emits, anyone who pollute, anyone who dispose waste will have to pay for themselves. And if you segregation of waste as source, you can reduce the amount of waste that you need to pay for the government to collect it. So as I mentioned, if you have a 3 bin or 2 bin at the moment, one is a recycle bin and one is an organic bin. If you put all the thing in the recycle bin, you will have to pay less for the organic bin. And that's what we are going to do, because at the moment they do not have to pay. But in the future, when they have to pay, they will have to reconsider where to put it. If they put all of the thing into 2 bin, they will have to pay for the 2 bin.
So it seems that we will have a weight in the trash room. Yes.
I mean,
so it automatically.
for the household, we will have 2 bin. If you put the waste into the recycle bin, you don't have to pay. Other people will collect it and recycle. And if you put the waste into the organic bin, you will have to pay. For the whole residential, it is the same. They will have collectively have an action collectively to reduce the waste. Otherwise, the whole apartment, the whole building will have to pay much more.
Yes, and I hope that
for the apartment, it will significantly high.
Absolutely. So do you think of the price for 1 kilo?
In fact, in the past, we consider industrial waste either what the enterprise will have to pay, and most of the residential waste will be paid by the government, and individual and household contribute very little. That's about 1 to 6% of the total cost. But in the future, it will increase about 20 times for what you pay. Because you will have to pay the full amount of waste that you dispose. And that's really significantly high if you don't segregate with the source.
And I hope that with this method we will have better future for plastic waste in Vietnam.
Our enterprise have initiative about encouraging people like deposit money or buying back the bag or due to discount the value of
reuse.
Yeah. So I think that the government, enterprise, and community work together. We can reduce the plastic use, and
sure.
I'm sure that in recent years, the individual and community in general, they really want to reduce the plastic themselves, and not because they do not have the facility that is good enough for them to do so. But most of them want to reduce the plastic use now.
Yes, you have said that most of people want to reduce plastic bag, and
they don't know how to use it.
Yeah, that's right. And research results of this Vietnam company also show that about 80% of Vietnamese consumers are willing to pay more for green and clean brands with environmentally friendly products. Brands with a commitment to provide green and clean products show a growth rate of about 4%. Okay, so have you got the same benefits rate? Yeah, I want to ask 3 businesses here, and since implementing activities on reducing single-use plastic products, what are the broadest values business have received? Yeah, so Mr. John, Mr. John, please.
So the key value that we can get from joining this program is number one. Actually, we can give a lot to our end user to pay attention to their the environment as well, because I believe that habitually, especially around the pandemic, they habitually use the plastic and then they take it for granted. So by joining this program, we can give them more awareness so that they can pay more attention to reduce the plastic. So that's the first one. And number two, since we are more like a platform player, by joining the hands with the government, we can amplify their impact to the society and also user. So we have many users living in the urban city, and also we have many nationwide restaurant merchant, and also rider as well. So for any green initiatives guided by the government, we can roll out this program throughout our platform, actually the impact will be bigger. Take the example of the B2B eco-friendly packaging material sales. Actually, by introducing more eco-friendly material into the Ban Biên, we can reach out to more than 100,000 merchants in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So it's much more powerful than the other platform. So in that regard, that we can get more value to create a bigger impact than the typical offline based one. So these two will be a great value that we can achieve by joining this program.
Yes. So what about MIıyorN Vietnam, Ms. Bằng Lan?
Yeah. So you're asking about the value and the achievement that we receive through plastic reduction, right? Yeah. So I think in terms of the achievement, I would divide into 2 different groups. The first one is about the tangible achievement, which is the achievement that we can calculate, which is the data. So I can say that because we apply the best practice from MIıyor N Japan, and the indicator that we use to measure the success for this project is how many percentage of transaction in MIıyor N shopping mall say no to plastic bags. So let me share with you about one best practice in MIıyor N Japan. They started plastic reduction campaign in 1991, which is 30 years ago, and until now they have 80% of customers coming to MIıyor N store say no to plastic bags. So in Vietnam, we implement this project 2 years ago, and right now we're proud to say that we have 5% transactions say no to plastic bag in our shopping store. So that's about the tangible achievement. But I think the achievement that we are most proud is about the intangible one, which is the value that we create. So the sustainability direction in MIıyor N, we follow the concept of triple bottom line, which is people, planet, and profit. So firstly, for profit, we say in our basic principle, we say we always want to contribute to the local community. But I think at the end of the day, it will be one-side love. If we just we just say and we just do from outside, but customer do not engage or interact or support us. So based on the data that I said before, we strongly believe that customer is supporting us, because 2 years ago, 0% say no to plastic bag in NHI榎M, and now 5% say no to plastic bag. And I think that's the sign that customer is supporting us. They understand our effort and they want to support NHI榎M. They do not use plastic bag because NHI榎M told them you cannot use plastic bag in NHI榎M, but they want to use eco bag because they want to contribute with us in this journey of plastic reduction. So the second P is the planet. So the value that we create is that we, like Mr. Thọ had said, we facilitate. All of what we do is not for like miracle. We don't believe in like overnight miracle.
Yeah.
Yes, tomorrow we wake up and everything has greener. Everything we do, we facilitate and we paving the pavement for customer to change their behavior toward a greener and a better, more sustainable lifestyle. And the last P is the profit, the planet, and I think in the last P we call it brand love. So we at the end of the day we still business, and we want to be profit without compromising the influence on the environment and the local community. So once customer support us, we think that's the brand love, and the brand love is the proudest achievement that we can talk about.
Yes. Okay. So it seems that after 2 years, the two-way love is stronger for NHI榎M. Yeah. Thank you very
The
much.
love is showing.
Okay. So yeah, Miss Marcus, what about the Starbucks Vietnam? So can you share with us?
Yes, I completely agree. I think this question is a two-part question. From the business side, you can imagine that changing from inexpensive or readily available single-use plastic to other kind of materials, it requires a bigger investment.
Yeah.
So we don't measure the return on investment or how are we going to profit from these changes.
Yeah.
It's just the right thing to do.
Sure.
So there is no question. We just need to do it.
Yeah.
And I believe the second part of your question, which is the proudest moments, I think when we make decisions like this, when we don't question what is the right thing to do, but we do it, then you have an enormous happiness around your team. And it's not only the brand love, but it's also how the partners or our employees love where they work.
Yes.
Because the right decisions are being made.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
So involving them in driving those is for us the reward.
Yeah. Yes. So it seems that when we are doing things that we think is necessary and it makes us happy, that is a rounded value that we get from the things we do. Okay, and I think that's all of us are trying to protect our planet, for not only for ourselves but also for the future. So it's one of the most valuable things that we can do right now. Yeah, thank you very much. So Mr. Thọ, Vietnam is aiming to completely eliminate plastic bag and unfriendly packaging by 2030. It means just 8 years to go. So do you think it is possible? And if yes, what recommendations that Sponsory have for business representative here?
Okay, at the Rio Plus 20 in 2012, and the United Nations has promoted the sustainable consumption and production and changing the sustainable lifestyle into reducing the harm to environment, including the reducing the plastic use, and together we should work to help and protect the ocean. And that's what we have worked intensively and try to change the behavior of the enterprise and community and the customer in the way of using the plastic. And I think that's some of the activity like what we do, that's establishing the alliance, retail alliance to reduce the plastic, including our colleague here, would help to significantly to reduce the use of the single plastic bag at the supermarket. And in the food and beverage industry, we can also reduce the use of the plastic, single-use plastic, including the straw, for example. And as I mentioned, the government have the strong regulation, and we will have a strong enforcement in the future to once to encourage people to change the behavior, to force them to change the behavior. Otherwise, they will get punishment for that. So I think that's it is not easy for us to change the behavior, enterprise, and the community at the moment, because as our partner have a society, that it will increase their investment and increase their cost, of course. And the reason that we can do is that we think that is the right thing to do, as you have mentioned. And because that, I think that's working together now, we will be able to achieve the objective and the goal of the Agenda 2030. That it means working together, we can have the partnership for the peace and prosperity of our people on our planet. And this year we celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the United Nations Environment Program, and it's also the 50 year of the Stockholm Treaty Agreement that we all commit that the environment and human should work together. And I think that together we will achieve the objective of the sustainable development and the Agenda 2030.
Yes, so that's positive news for all of us.
Yeah,
thank you, sir. So, as a participant in the development and design of environmental laws, how is iSpori currently supporting and encouraging businesses to launch initiatives to promote green and sustainable consumption?
This year we will have the green taxonomy. That means classify the industry into the green area, and those who are in the green field will receive the encouragement, priority, and privilege when they make investment in Vietnam. And we also have a number of other instruments, like I said, that's the green bond, green credit, to encourage firms to participate in the green economy and reducing the emission, including the plastic. And next year we will have the national program on circular economy issued by the Prime Minister. And working together, iSpori try to design the way that the firm and the local government and the ministry can follow and to implement the law on environment protection. And as I mentioned, we introduced the extended producer responsibility. And at the moment, it's a lot of enterprise are against about that, because it increases the cost of their business. But from now to 2030, I'm sure that working together we can reduce the use of the plastic, and the law will be implemented according to the roadmap that help the firm to transition to the new economy, that reducing the use of plastic and toward a greener economy.
Yes, so we can see that the government try facilitates for business to get the sustainable development.
Yes.
But as a share of the business, this words need a lot of time and also need a lot of money and effort. Yes, and so do business have any wish or suggestions to the the government or so Ms. Marquez, please.
It has been a very invigorating and exciting conversation on a subject that has, of course, those questions, right? How much, how long, when, how. So listening this afternoon to the ideas and what the government has for us is truly truly a great moment to say we're going to do it.
Yes.
I think the commitment is out there right now. We are on public television, so everybody can hear that it will happen.
Yes.
I believe that the private sector, the industrial sector, manufacturing, and the government need to work together.
Yes.
I don't think it is more responsibility from one than the other. But actually, with the support of those very key basic notes coming from the government, then the different industries in the private sector will be able to support and implement, and by the government facilitating this roadmap. So I'm anything and very, very optimistic about the next few years.
Yeah, thank you. So what about MIıyor? So Miss Bằng Lan, can you share with us?
Yes. So from the role of a retailer, firstly, I want to share a little bit more about the MIıyor in Japan. As I shared before, like after 30 years of implementing the plastic reduction campaigns, 80% of customers say no to plastic bag in MIıyor store nationwide in Japan. But it is because MIıyor and Japan government, they already know what comes ahead. They already know that in the future we will ban and we will charge the plastic bag. So MIıyor make the business and also the consumer be ready for the policy by making the plastic reduction campaign and activities. So as you may know, in Japan, Japan government launched the policy to charge the plastic bag in 2020, and by that time, a lot of consumer angry, and do not agree. I am not agree to plastic bag charging because it's my consumer convenience. Why do you charge me? But that situation did not happen in MIıyor store because 30 years ago we did a lot of different activity to make consumer be ready for that change. So go back to Vietnam, I think, and I do believe in the power of multi-stakeholder collaboration, especially the public and private collaboration. And I believe that because I think in Vietnam government already did a really great job by informing us all the action plan until 2030 and all the upcoming potential legal changes. So you can imagine, and for example, MIıyor, not only MIıyor, but other retailers also make consumer be ready for those changes, just like in Japan. So by that time we launched that policy, and consumer is already familiar with eco bag using, already familiar with garbage classification. So by that time our job will be much easier and everyone is happy.
Yeah, and it's a long time story, need a different stage, different period. Yeah, thank you very much. So what is your opinion, Mr. Joe?
So I think that there more like a suggestion to the government is that the Vietnamese government need to invest more into this recycling, I would say, industry. Yeah. It's not just a recycling. I would say this is an industry that the government should boost.
Yeah.
For example, I share more like we are preparing like a B2B more, and then we try to find a great vendor who can provide a recycled napkin. But actually, we cannot find as many vendor as possible, and the same for the like the biodegradable the plastic vendor as well. So from my experience, government should invest into more like a recycling industry infrastructure so that we can have a dedicated manufacturer and vendor who can produce recycled product more proactively. Yeah. Actually, it really helpful for the Vietnamese consumer to change their mindset. For example, when I was more like a secondary students, Korea started more like a recycling. And then the program that I got is that once I return back my paper, actually they give more like a recycled toiletry paper as a reward. And also when I return their like a plastic cup or plastic bag, actually they give more like a shirts, t-shirts made with a polyester. So people should clearly recognize that upside benefit by joining this recycling program. And then to make it happen, it will be great if we can have a very strong infrastructure to sustain this sustainable economy going forward, so that we can have many more players who can produce more high quality recycled product. And then by doing so, the user and the consumer can see the clear reason to collect the older plastic bags and also the plastic bottle and also the paper, so that it can get recycled. So that is a starting point to make a more like a virtuous cycle going forward.
Yes, so we can see that we also need, beside policy, we also need the recycle infrastructure as well as long-term roadmap or long-term visions for plastic waste. Okay, so those are the shares of businesses as well as a representative of management agency. So ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to a very interesting share about initiative of businesses in the field of reducing plastic waste. Yes, on behalf of Vietnamese Investment Review, thank you very much for the guests joining with us today, and thank you audience have listening to our talk today, and I hope that to see you again next time in the next show with the topic innovative solution and substitute to replace plastic. Thank you and hope to see you again. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.